All right. Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting reading vlog on this channel. So I have a long list of books that I have read before, but it's been a while. I don't fully remember them, and I want to reread them in order to see whether I want to keep them or get them off of my shelves. And in this video, we are going to be rereading It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. It's been like only a couple of years since I first read this, so I kind of feel bad that I don't remember a lot of it, but I will tell you from what I remember. I looked at the back just to remember what their names are. The main character's name is Piper. She is a rich girl, like her parents are rich, and she gets into a little bit of trouble. I think she's like skinny dipping in a pool while drunk, as one does, and goes to jail for the night. And her parents are like, hey, you gotta stop the partying, like you're being crazy. And so they force her to go to a small town. I think she runs a bar. And while she is there, she should show you guys the cover of the book so you can always be looking at it instead of me. Hi. She meets this like fisherman guy whose name I don't remember. Brendan. And they, I don't know, get into a relationship. That's all I remember. I remember liking this, not liking the epilogue. I think of this one. Or is it the sequel that I don't like the epilogue? But like I said, it's been a while, and I know that I like Tessa Bailey's work, so I'm hoping this is something that I want to keep on my shelves, but I'm going to go ahead, start reading it, and then I'm going to, record not only the process of me reading it, talking about the book, but also the things that I get up to surrounding reading it. Daily life sort of things. Ooh, vlogging during a reading vlog. Crazy. So let me start that. Okay, so it has not been that long since the last time that I talked to you guys, but I wanted to give you a little bit of an update because I just finished chapter 3 and I have a good baseline on how this story starts, so I just wanted to double check with you guys. So like I said, our main character Piper, she gets dumped, and she's a really interesting character to read from because she is rich only because her stepdad is rich. She hasn't really ever done anything with her life before. She just parties with popular people and posts on Instagram. And so it's kind of like her life is falling apart because she knows that she is old. She's 28. All of these people who are surrounding her are younger than her and more popular than her and just better than her in general. And she's been dating this guy for 3 weeks, even though it says that this is the most attention he's given her since they met, so the dating was obviously going really great. Anyway, she's upset, and she wants to make a name for herself that night so that her breakup isn't the only thing plastered on the news. And so she breaks into a hotel with a whole bunch of people and has a pool party. She goes to jail, spends the night there, gets picked up by her younger sister, and then they have a conversation with her stepdad, who's not happy that she did this because the hotel that she broke into was owned by the guy who's financing, giving him money, the stepdad money for the movie that he's going to be making. And so, business wise, it's a really big deal. And so the stepdad decides to send Piper to this small town. I can't remember what it's called. Westport, that's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure. Where her biological father lived before he died, to take care of the bar that her biological father owned for this 3 months, basically like over the summer, and kind of learn how to have a job and fend for herself, and I don't know, just be a member of society. Her younger sister as well comes with her because she's like, I don't know that my older sister can like take care of herself. I'm gonna be here for emotional support. I don't remember whether her younger sister stays though. Either way, we got to the point now. We're in the town. We are meeting Brendan, who is the fisherman that I was talking about before. And I'm in a chapter now where we're reading his point of view, which is just basically like him noticing that the girls are moving in. Just a little update on the foundations of this story. What time is it right now? Oh no. I have a jar of my book tabs because I'm slowly, I don't even think you'll be able to see the like single tab, I don't know, that I've tabbed in this. I had a jar full of the parts that I cut off of the tabs, and I just dumped it all over my bed. It's currently 12:52 in the morning, so I have about 8 minutes until I must go to bed. I'll probably read the next chapter and then update you guys tomorrow. Tessa Bailey, I swear, is the writer of all time. I know that there's like a good number of people online that don't like her writing because she's kind of silly goofy. Like you... Thank you, Georgia. You are either going to like her writing style or you're not, I feel like. But I like her writing so much. So I just get to this scene where Brendan, our male main character, love interest, whatever you want to call him, is out to dinner with his best friend who has been away in a different city for a couple of days. And they're basically like catching up. His best friend's like, hey, I heard that a couple girls from LA moved here. And they're like chatting about it, and Brendan's like, yeah, because his best friend's kind of like a really big flirt, don't talk to the older one. I'm not going to explain why. And I was like, ooh. Because we haven't really talked about this, but Brendan used to be married. His wife died. And so that's like kind of, and he's, you know, kind of a grump, so kind of a big deal. I was like, ooh, oh my god. And then the other thing that really like jumped out at me is like, ooh, oh my gosh, is that of course I've read this book before and I've read the sequel. Piper's younger sister, Hannah, spoilers, I guess, in the sequel gets together with Brendan's best friend. And so we have this meeting where Brendan's best friend, Fox, and Hannah meet for the very first time. Hannah's kind of, my arm's getting tired because I'm so not used to vlogging. Oh my god. Hannah is kind of angry at Brendan because her sister like made a mistake and Brendan saved them and then was like, what are you doing? Like, why did you do that? Just as like a reaction to being in a high stress situation. And so Hannah is angry at him for being a little bit mean to her older sister, but it's also kind of like, you know, it's just in the moment, you know, it was a really big, like I said, high stress situation. And I forget what Fox said, something like, whoa or hey, or, you know, let's calm down a little bit, whatever. And Hannah's like, who are you, his pretty boy sidekick? And he's like, pretty boy. I love them so much. Just like, I don't know. Something about both of those scenes was just like, ooh, the beginnings of something. So I'm excited to read more of this. I'm really enjoying it. I thought I'd be a little silly, a little goofy, and change up the camera angle a little bit, because when I'm sitting here, I always have my tripod, which you can see in the background here a little bit. I always have it sitting over here, but then you're always seeing me from like this angle. So I was like, what if I put it over here on the table? But I don't think that I like it because it's a little too low, but also, listen, you're not on a tripod, so you do what you do. Anyway, so it is currently like day 3, I think, of me recording every day while we are really on a pattern. I don't know what I wanted to say there. Still reading It Happened One Summer, of course. This is the only thing that I'm reading in this video, so like, obviously. And last night I went a little crazy, a little stupid. I recently have been really into the idea of bookish social media, and like maybe rejoining. So last night I was looking into, like, it's been a hot second since the last time I was on any sort of bookish social media. What is the current like favorite? And it's still the same, supposedly, so yippee. And so I was looking into rejoining, and apparently the last time that I had a Bookstagram book talk, and this is my, you know, YouTube, this hasn't changed, I didn't delete my accounts. So, you know, way to go for me. So I just re-logged in to those, and now I'm like, okay, like starting to think up content ideas for those sites and how I would take nice photos for Instagram, see about any videos for TikTok. So that was a night. I should also maybe tell you that I'm basically doing this as a distraction from not wanting to play Pokemon Fire Red. I have this thing where every single time that I play a Pokemon game, I get all the way up to the Elite Four, and then I just never want to play it ever again for some reason. But simultaneously, because I'm playing it on my gaming YouTube channel, I feel bad if I don't finish it. So I'm in this sort of like weird, uncomfortable middle ground where I don't want to continue playing it, but I also need to be responsible. And so instead, for the past however many days, I've been reading books. For right now, I have 3 dogs on top of me. I have a book. I'm gonna read. One thing that I do really need to figure out, though, with this area, because I sit here a lot when I'm reading, is lighting. Because when I was editing last video, I noticed it didn't look very good up to my like expectation. I have high expectations for myself, okay? I always like, things don't need to be perfect, but they need to be like good. And so I'm trying to figure out what I can do around here for lighting, because I know like this half is darker because we just have, you know, the ceiling light over here. The other thing that I could do is record in 4K, because I'm only recording in, you know, HD right now, but that's not going to help. I don't think it's going to help the quality of the recording as much as getting better lighting would, but I don't know. Because I tried it before where I turned on my little side lamp here, but that just makes me yellow. I could, you know, change the bulb. But about my book, little conversation that I want to have, and this is maybe getting a little bit into spoiler territory, but it is like a big topic for the book, and I wanted to talk about it just because I really enjoy this conversation that we're having in the book, I guess. So, I don't remember if I told you guys this or not, but Piper, her father used to be a crab fisher, like everybody else in this town, basically. And he died when she was very, very young. Basically, a giant wave came up and picked him off of his boat, and he drowned in the ocean. And so, like, Piper knows this. She didn't know exactly how he died, but she has grown up her entire life knowing that her dad died when she was young. And it's sort of that thing, because she was so young, she doesn't really have any memories of him, and therefore it does not emotionally impact her in any way, because it's like the same as hearing the story of how like a stranger died, you know, like that's unfortunate, but I don't want to say it doesn't really matter, but you know, there's no emotional impact because you don't have ties to that stranger. And so her moving to this small town that her dad is from, and the town like idolizes her dad. He's a really big part of the community even after his death. She's making those emotional ties to him, and it's really interesting to see the way that his death affects her even after the fact. I'm getting into the scene right now where there's this really big storm that is coming from the ocean while our main male character, Brendan, is out on a ship. And Piper is very worried about the fact that he's out on the ship during the storm, and is kind of reminded of her father's death and is freaking out. On one hand, as a reader, this scene is very like cringe because we know, or at least I do, having read this book before, that everything turns out pretty okay. No spoilers, but you know, Brendan doesn't die. And so seeing Piper freak out, on one hand, it's very nice because she obviously really cares about him, and just the fact that she is taking this a little bit harder is a nice look into her feelings, but also simultaneously me knowing that she's kind of making a big deal and freaking out over nothing is kind of like embarrassing to read. Like, girl, chill out a little bit. But I don't know, there's a conversation in here about how the things that happen in your past, even if you don't think that they affected you very much, end up being things that you worry about in the future. And the fact that, like I said, her dad died during a storm, drowning, how that influences her fears for when Brendan is out on his ship, even though he's fine. So, a few years ago, more than 5, you know, I got a little selfie ring light thing. It's just some cheap thing from Walmart. It cost me like $5, I think. It's been dead for a while, and so I'm charging it, as you can see. When it was dead, of course, I hit the power button and the light wasn't turning on. When I plugged it in, the light wasn't like automatically turning on. So I was like, okay, let me give it a couple minutes to charge, and then, you know, I'll see whether or not it still works, because it's been sitting on my desk just like without battery for years at this point. Like, one day I'm gonna use it, but not recently. Anyway, let me reenact to you what I just did, because oh boy. Okay, I'm not done with the book yet. I have like 20, 30 more pages until there's an epilogue in this, or a first look little teaser thing about the sequel, so it doesn't look like I'm 20 pages away from the ending, but I am like about 20, 30 pages away from the ending. But I wanted to take a pause and talk about this because I've read this book before. Why am I so emotional? I love books about like small towns and just interacting, making a place for yourself, putting down roots, you know, all of that. And so we're in this scene right now where Piper, our main character, is very unsure of where she belongs. You know, she used to live in California and her life was full of, you know, partying and social media and brand deals and all of that. But she never felt like she was worth anything, that she was easily replaceable, and that she didn't really have any friends. Versus we get to this scene in the book right now that I'm reading where she's, you know, feeling low again, feeling like she doesn't really fit in this small town, and that her trying to put down roots here is a mistake. And like all of the characters of the small town are coming together and saying the different ways that she has changed their lives. There is this older man who runs the hardware store with his sons, and every morning he likes to read the newspaper near the museum, but he can't make it up to the steps of the museum, to the bench that's around there. And so every morning Piper helps him up there and make sure that, you know, he's seated, he's all nice and good before, you know, she lets him read his newspaper, just like enjoy the day. Or their grandma, who hasn't really been out and about since her son died, their dad, and who has recently kind of started like living again, making friends, going out and like enjoying life rather than staying in her apartment all the time. Or there's, you know, this unnamed side character who's talking about how Piper helped her with her makeup, and now she's feeling a lot more confident at work and got like some people's numbers, and she's like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited to get my makeup done again by Piper. And it's just so nice, especially because, you know, this is Piper's story, and how, like I said, Piper is feeling really down and like she doesn't really belong here. But then also just in general, I love stories about characters moving to small towns and finding community in the small town. And it's just, this book is so good. Okay, I finished it. I literally just read the final page. I did a quick look at the epilogue bonus scene, I guess. Like there's the epilogue, but then there's also a second epilogue that's sort of a teaser for the sequel, which focuses on Fox, who is Brendan's best friend, and Hannah, who is Piper's sister. Like I said, I read that one. I just wasn't really all that into their story, their relationship, which is so unfortunate, because reading this and I'm like, that would be such a good story. And then me remembering it and being like, no, I don't like Fox's mommy issues. Unfortunate. Anyway, this book though, I finished it, and I really liked it. Here's a look at my tabs, so you can kind of see. I ran out of green ones, and when I ran out of green, I started using yellow towards the back here. And here I have 4 on the top. they're all kind of bunched together, kind of difficult to see. These are all lines or scenes that I enjoyed while reading. These are all sex scenes. There were 4. They are decently spaced apart. It's a Tessa Bailey book. You know how it is. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm glad that I reread it. Tessa Bailey's writing is just very silly, goofy, and I love that. I don't know that I would rate it 5 stars though. Like, I'm not obsessed with it, but I did really enjoy my time with it, you know? So I'd say it's probably a 4-star, which I think is what I rated it the first time that I read it as well. So that makes sense. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for re-experiencing It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey with me. I hope that you enjoyed watching me fall in love with this book again, perhaps. And I will see you in my next video for Ride With Me.